going to talk a little bit about how I stumbled upon this work. It's definitely not what I was expecting. So I've been meditating for about 20 years since I was 17. Originally got into it because I had a lot of anxiety, concerns, autism. I was really kind of stuck in my head looking for ways to get out. And a lot of the work that I've been doing in recent years in my own meditation was focused on removing these external blockages, right? I had the idea that, if I could kind of get to the bottom of things, that, certain tensions within me were kind of bubbling up and kind of powering these thoughts that were in my head. And if I could release that, then, I would get free of the autism, free of the inheadedness and all of that. So I really focused on kind of going within, the body, the nerves, and kind of bubbling those tensions, those hidden tensions up to the surface. And what I would notice is that these these feelings, almost these knots, these nervous tensions would kind of come up and gradually release, and it would almost be sort of effervescent, bubbly feeling when they came out and released, and then gradually I would get freer over time. What happened fairly unexpectedly, as I was having a meditation session with somebody else, and all of a sudden I realized in the middle of it that I wasn't feeling my sensations, because a lot of times my sensations, they have a certain feel to them. I'm kind of used to how my stuff and how my internal stuff feels. I realized all of a sudden that I was actually feeling the other person's tensions, the other person's knots. I was feeling what was happening inside of them, and that felt distinctly different from what was happening inside of me. And then I also noticed that for me, things would slowly bubble up. It would take time. Maybe in an hour I would kind of get something out, but in this time with the other person, things were coming up out of them and getting released so much faster than in my own process with myself. And at the end of that session, there was a magic moment where they're like, I had all this pain in my arm, and it's not there anymore. I can free it. There's no pain. And we were in touch. They wrote me back later in the day. It's like, yeah, it's just completely gone. And what I realized, what happened was in that process of releasing all this tension, all this inner pain, some of that also was related to and was driving and was a major factor in the ailment, the physical ailment that they had. And that was really wonderful to me to see how I was able to contribute to making them feel better. And yes, it took energy from my part and awareness from my part, and that focus to help them release those blocks, but it enabled them to have a release that they may never have had. Because I know from years of experience how difficult it is for me to get into that state of mind, have my body in a certain way, the energy in a certain way to enable that release. And I was able to help them do that in a way that was so much faster than even for me.